cheap Harbor Freight garage tent. Well, these are pretty cheap. They're only about 200 bucks if you get them at the store. But they're cheap for a reason, and that's because they're made cheap. Now I've had this, I don't know, probably 2 months now, and we've had some pretty high winds here. Now I've got a little protection from my shop up here, which is a little bit uphill of it, and the prevailing wind that seems to be coming from that side for the most part. We had 50-mile-an-hour winds the day after I put this up, actually, and today we've had 50 to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's calming down now. Storm's almost over. I want to show you a little bit the tent and how I managed to get it to stay up through the winds. Honestly, I thought I was going to lose it through both these storms, but it has managed to hold. For one thing, I have left the flaps on the bottom loose. I did not cover them down. I believe they work as like a safety valve that keeps pressure from building up inside. They'll lift when the air gets inside and starts to lift the tent. They'll release air out the leeward side. You know, and the ends flap here a little bit too. It's not going to keep everything perfectly dry, but it keeps, you know, anything that's, you know, a couple feet off the floor, it should stay reasonably dry, unless you've got really high winds. But it is good protection. I've got a lot of my yard equipment in here. Right now I'm not fully utilizing it, but I probably will be eventually. It just helps me get a lot of stuff out of my workshop that I don't want taking up space in there. Also, like get tools with gasoline in them where I weld in there. I really don't want all that stuff in there. So here we're on the inside, and yeah, I've got a little light strapped up top there. I just run an extension cord out so I can come out at night. Close this a second. So for one thing, you got all your straps that hold this together around the ends. They hold the end panels on. You want to make sure they're pretty good and tight. Not so tight that you're going to rip the seam out of it, but enough that it's not going to slip over the edge of the pipe, because once that comes around the pipe, it's done. It's going to fly away. So anyways, you probably can see my cross bracing in here, and this is primarily what's keeping this up. Is I go from the bottom brace bar down there up to the top brace bar, and I'm just using web straps in here. They're not tight. They just have just a little bit of tension on them, and it keeps it from leaning from one side to the other. And the other thing I've done, besides the stakes that it comes with that go in the four corners, I got pet stakes. These just screw in, and they're not as hardy as the ones that comes with the tent, but they do the job. And I've put them on the four middle poles, and that helps tie them down to the ground as well. In addition, weight your four corners down, whatever you've got to tie it down. I've got a brick on this one. My snowblower attachment is weighting this corner down. I've got one tied down to my tractor, and this one's a little light. I really should have more weight on it, but it's doing the job with my old chipper here. And that just keeps the wind from lifting it up. Between that and the ground stakes, so far seems to be holding all right. So anyways, a little tip on trying to get one of these to survive high winds, because, you know, obviously you're not going to take this thing down every time you get a high storm, leave your stuff exposed, and the work it takes to do all that. Yeah, they say that on the instructions, but, you know, who's really going to do that? So you do what you can, try and make it survive, and this has helped me out quite a bit. I've made it through 2 storms with this, and hopefully a good bit more. So coming back to this is a full year later since I first started the video on this. So I just wanted to put this out before I before I post so you can see how it held up. It's still standing. It's actually done quite well, a lot better than I expected it to. The only issue that I had come up, and this actually has been here, it happened over the last winter. There's a little bit of wear right here where one of the frame members, it's just, I think it had a little sharp edge there. But that's about the only spot where I had any issue. I'm going to put a little bit of Gorilla Tape on there, and I think that'll take care of it for this next winter. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it'll go one more winter. 3 probably going to be about the limit, is my guess. I think after that you're going to see ultraviolet light's going to start to degrade the canvas. But it looks pretty good for 2, and I think it'll at least get part way through the 3rd year. But anyways, that's the review so far. After 1 year, I would say it's held pretty good, and for the cost of the thing, I really can't complain. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and found it entertaining or educational. If so, please consider hitting like or subscribe. It does help give me incentive to continue producing more. Thank you.